Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you. It's a wonderful evening, and I would like to take the opportunity for the moment to thank the dinner committee for having this dinner following the Dodgers winning 3 out of 4 from the Angels. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would also like to thank, more importantly, not only my fellow broadcasters, but my friends. And I thank you for all the wonderful things that you said, and I've listened to every word, and I appreciated it, and I will not believe one word of it. There was a minister in the Anglican Church. His name was William Archibald Spooner, and it belongs to all of us because he was a very brilliant mind, but he had some problems with his words. And because he was brilliant, he was asked to give the invocation for Queen Victoria in a rather important state dinner. And the time came, and William Archibald Spooner stood up and gave a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tribute to the Queen. And then he said, "And so, let's glaze our asses to the queer old Dean." A hush fell over the dining room. And he said, "I mean, let's raise our glasses to the dear old Queen." That's the occupational hazard that all of us have. There's also a hazard in television. I learned that lesson. It was in Brooklyn, bottom of the ninth. The Dodgers were losing, it's ever so. And they had the tying run on base and the possible winning run on deck. And the hitter to prolong the game with 2 outs was a Hall of Fame outfielder named Duke Snider. The first pitch to Duke Snider was ball 1, and I noticed the first base coach of Brooklyn kind of went like that. Now, Roy Campanella is the big man. He's waiting on deck. The next pitch is ball 2, and Jake Pittler bends down, picks up a handful of dirt, throws it high in the air. The next pitch is ball 3. The crowd's roaring. Jake takes his hat off, white hair glistening in the lights, and does a little dance. Scully gets an idea. I said to the assistant director, 3-0 pitch, take a close-up of Jake Pittler, the coach. I know Snider is not going to swing 3-0. So they took a big picture of Jake Pittler. And I said, whatever you do, watch his reaction. Just watch his reaction. You'll know right away where the pitch is. And I was calling people off the streets. I was calling them out of bathrooms. I was calling them out of bedrooms to watch Jake Pittler's reaction. And the next pitch was outside. And Jake began to adjust his clothing in a most personal area. And I had to say ball 4. About 2 or 3 days later, I was walking into the clubhouse, and I heard Jake's voice. "Hey, Scully." I said, "Yeah, Jake." "What'd you say about me on television?" I said, "What?" He said, he held up a can of Johnson & Johnson baby powder and said, "I got this in the mail. Try answering that after your telecast." All of us, and the fellas have been just great. I really do appreciate them coming here. I appreciate the words. I really appreciate what Dave and Dana have done, what they continue to do. As it says, honor thy mother and thy father, and they have certainly done and continue to do just that. I learned a great lesson very early in my career. I think it was my first World Series. Somebody hit a home run, and I called the home run. And then, as the network always does, they show it again. And I thought, well, I've just called it, so why do I have to say it's a home run. So I didn't say anything. And a newspaper columnist wrote, perhaps Vin Scully made his greatest contribution by saying nothing. And the more I thought about that, the more I realized that's absolutely true. I can't compete with the enthusiasm and the roar of the crowd. And as a little boy, when I was 8 years old, which is shortly after the discovery of fire, I used to listen to crowd roar, and it absolutely gave me goosebumps from head to toe. And so, to this day, if there's a trademark of mine, the thing I do best of all is when I say nothing. And I said nothing for 1 minute and 30 seconds when the great Henry Aaron broke Babe Ruth's record, and it gave me a chance to think about just how important that home run was, not only to the team and the city and the state, but to all of this great country. And the other time was my greatest contribution in 65 years to the Dodgers. It was the World Series in 1988, and it's the ninth inning, bottom of the ninth. The Dodgers are losing, of course. And all of a sudden I had an idea, so I asked the producer, we were in commercial, and I said, do me a favor, follow me. Now I know he's busy on the phone trying to get the time for the Midwest and the East following the game. So we had the mandatory shot from the blimp, and then it came down into the ballpark, and I said, if you had field glasses, you'd be looking in the Dodger dugout. Wham, there's the shot of the dugout, and the pan now of the dugout. I'm looking for Kirk Gibson, but I don't say it. And as the camera goes to the very end of the dugout, I said, well, he's not here, so obviously he will not play tonight. Sitting in the dressing room on a training table with 2 big bags of ice on his legs, Kirk Gibson. But he's looking at the telecast, and he hears me, and something happens to him. And he hollers to the television, fertilizer! Well, reasonable facsimile. He then called the kid in the locker room, said, tell Tommy I'm coming down. And he came down, and I saw out of the corner of my eye, he was coming up the dugout steps, and I said, well, look who's here. Well, as you know, Kirk Gibson hit the home run. The baseball world went crazy, as did the fans, and the Dodgers went on to win their last World Series until hopefully in the near future. But I've always considered that that's my greatest contribution. I got Kirk Gibson off that bloody table and get up there at the home plate. One last thing, and I don't mean to demean my fellow broadcasters at all, but we don't accomplish anything. We talk about the accomplishments of others. If you are a fight announcer, you are talking about the remarkable Sugar Ray Leonard. If you are a football announcer, you are talking about my favorite, Jim Brown. The point is that we spend our careers talking about others, singing their praises. And I will tell you, after 65 years of singing the praises of all of these great athletes, I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank God for hanging around this long. Thank you.